Welcome to the last episode of the launcher test. At least for now. Never say never. I started the series a couple months ago because I simply wanted to test out more Minecraft launchers. You guys were always talking about your favorite launcher and even discussing about which one is better, while I barely knew the existence of any of them. I've essentially always used the vanilla Minecraft launcher, just the default one that comes with the game, and after Modrinth revealed their Modrinth app, I fully switched to that and I've been using that ever since. Okay, maybe I used Technic a few times, like way back in the day, but that has been such a long time ago, it doesn't really count. So I wanted to check out more and I decided to start testing them all in videos. The launcher test was born. In total, I've made 11 episodes. And in those 11 episodes, we've tested out 12 separate launchers. All of these launchers with their own unique looks and features and user bases. Some were official launchers of Minecraft content platforms, others were just independent, and others were launchers of clients. But no matter where they came from, they all have a substantial user base. They are quote-unquote popular under certain users in the community, and therefore I felt like covering these 12. Obviously, I don't even think I have to mention this, but I will do it anyway. We have not checked out every Minecraft launcher in existence. Just like with Minecraft mods and plugins, new launchers get released on GitHub essentially every single day. There is no way to test out every single one of them. Also, like I mentioned in previous episodes, we've not checked out any cracked Minecraft launchers or any launchers for mobile, while both of those, even though they are Java Edition launchers, kinda serve a different purpose. In this case, being able to play without owning the game, or being able to play on your mobile phone. They are not generic Java launchers, which is why I've skipped them for now. But who knows, maybe testing out a mobile launcher in the future could be fun. Do let me know in the comments down below if that is something you would want. But after checking out 12, I do feel like we have a good idea of what the community is using. Which means it is now time for me to choose my favorite. Like mentioned before, I have been using the Modrinth app full-time ever since it released. With full-time, I mean that I only boot the vanilla Minecraft launcher if I want to boot Bedrock Edition. But for Java, I always use the Modrinth app. But that might be about to change. Because I'm gonna create a tier list, including every single Minecraft launcher I've tested out during this series. To once and for all decide which one I like best, which one I like the least, and the one which will come out on top, which is my absolute favorite, that is the one I'm gonna use full time after the release of this video. It should be incredibly fun. It's also gonna be a long video. I do wanna ask you to double check if you're actually subscribed to the channel. The vast majority of my daily viewers are not. Maybe you think you are, but you might not actually be in reality, so if you could just double check, I would appreciate it so much. Also, last warning, this video is obviously gonna be filled to the brim with my opinion. You may or may not agree with my opinion, and if you disagree, there is nothing wrong with that. You are totally allowed to disagree with my takes, nothing wrong with that. I'm just gonna give you my opinion, my point of view, and whether you agree or not, that is up to you to decide. And with that all being said, let's go and tier list some Minecraft launchers. So in the first episode of the launcher test, we of course had a look at the Modrinth and the CurseForge app. The only episode, by the way, where I covered two launchers in one. And the reason I did this is, well, not that surprising, the launchers are kinda similar. Similar in a way that both the Modrinth app and the CurseForge app are the official launchers of their respective platforms. And on the surface, both launchers indeed do things very similar. They both only allow you to download stuff from their related platform. So on the Modrinth app, you are completely unable to download anything from CurseForge, obviously, and this also works the other way around. At the same time though, because they are the official apps, they do have very good integration with their respective platform. So the Modrinth app, the whole look and design just screams Modrinth, because, well, it is Modrinth. It is so similar. The whole UI really looks like you just ripped apart the Modrinth website and put it on your own PC as a piece of software. And, well, that is exactly what it is. And this is the case for CurseForge as well. Now, the fact that you are not able to download stuff from the other platform is of course a very big downside. And it makes total sense that that functionality is not there. How strange would it be if you could download CurseForge stuff through the Modrinth app? That just doesn't really make sense. But at the same time, there are a bunch of third-party launchers that do allow you to do just that. Both apps also unfortunately have ads. But this is also kind of where the similarities end. The Modrinth app has an ad only in the bottom right of the screen. It is still an ad, and ads are annoying, but it is nowhere near as bad as it is on CurseForge, where the ads essentially take up 1/3 of your entire screen. That is brutal. I don't know how they are getting away with this, but having 1/3 of your screen filled with ads, that is no longer an eyesore or a mild inconvenience. That is actually crazy. And while the other 2/3 of the launcher are still very much usable, having just a row with ads on the right side, that is an immediate no-go for me. Like straight up, not gonna use it. I do want to say though that on both of these apps, I don't mind the ads as much as I do on other apps. And that is for one simple reason, which the Zoomify developer pointed out to me. It's Xander, cause he said, I would much rather want people using the Modrinth and CurseForge app, because over there, the creators on the platforms actually get a portion of the revenue. And that is totally right. On both Modrinth and the CurseForge app, a part of the ad revenue directly goes to the creators of the resources on the platforms, even if those ads are shown inside of the launcher. So while it is still a big eyesore, you are at least helping out mod developers by having them and seeing them. So there is something to say for the ads being there, but still, it does really suck. But this is also where the CurseForge app kinda stagnates, and where the Modrinth app takes a few more leaps forward. On the Modrinth app, you're able to have a friend list. And if you add friends, you can see what they're playing. There's also a jump back in section, which is kind of similar to quick play in the vanilla launcher, and it allows you to instantly jump into a world or a server you recently visited. And quite recently, they also added a skin changer, so that you're now officially able to change your skin and cape directly from the Modrinth app. Something which on the CurseForge app you can still not do. Modrinth just has a lot more functionality when it comes to their launcher. But there is something I should note, and that is that the CurseForge app is also not just an app for Minecraft. CurseForge is not a Minecraft exclusive platform like Modrinth is. It actually is just a general modding platform. And through the CurseForge app, you're also able to install mods for The Sims, or World of Warcraft, or Stardew Valley. So essentially all games with a very big modding community, they have a place on CurseForge. And of course Minecraft is the biggest, but yeah, they do offer a lot more than just Minecraft. For this series though, we're just having a look at the Minecraft functionality. And in terms of the launcher, when it comes to Minecraft specifically, Modrinth does really outshine CurseForge. There are just way more features, it feels like a way more complete package, and while there is an ad, it is only a mild eyesore in the bottom right, it is not that bad. At the same time, the Modrinth app is also not perfect. The fact that you're not able to even download anything from CurseForge is of course something which we can expect, as it is again the Modrinth app, but the reality is that there are just a lot of third-party launchers out there that can do this. Therefore, even though it is the launcher I've been using exclusively for the past 1.5 years, it is impossible to place it in S. It simply, at least in its current form, is not an S tier launcher. So from me, it is getting an A. At the same time though, this is what CurseForge cooked up. Why is there so much ads? They are even hiding it on their website. For a launcher that can only download stuff from CurseForge and is unable to interact with Modrinth at all, it really has to do some things well in the launcher to get a good rating. Unfortunately though, it doesn't do a lot of things well. If you mod a lot of different games, it is a great mod manager. But for Minecraft specifically, it doesn't really do anything interesting. It doesn't have a friend list. It doesn't have a jump back in section. It also doesn't allow you to change your skin. It just misses out on all of that. And at the same time, it serves you this abomination of an ad. I can personally not understand why people are using the CurseForge app, even though there are so many other way better options out there that feel much more complete and that doesn't turn booting Minecraft into one big ad viewing campaign. So from me, CurseForge, unfortunately, you're getting a C. Also, in case you haven't noticed, we got S, A, B, and C, and then there is F. F is bottom tier. Like bad. Like really bad. Next up, we got MultMC. And the MultMC Launcher is in a very special position because the MultMC Launcher has been forked into oblivion. So other popular Minecraft launchers like for example PolyMC and the Prism Launcher, both of them are forks of MultMC. Usually developers don't make forks if they don't think they can make the thing better. So in other words, PolyMC and Prism are bound to be better versions of MultMC, which is why checking out MultMC was quite interesting. First up, it is a very simple launcher. Many of you actually called it ugly, but I wouldn't go so far. Even though yes, it is very simple, there is also something to say for that. Like maybe you don't want a very fancy experience when just booting Minecraft. You simply want to boot the game as quickly as possible. Most players don't spend a lot of time in the launcher. Like yes, while installing mods, you do, but most time is of course spent in-game. So I don't really mind the launcher having a very simplistic look. Also, there still is some customization. You can put it in dark mode, you can change the icons, so you can mix it up a little bit, but yes, it will still be very simple. But even though the simplistic look is not something which I mind, there are a bunch of other things in the launcher which I do very much mind. So, when you first create a new instance, you are able to select a mod pack, and it will then pull that mod pack from the respective source, but it doesn't support CurseForge as a platform. CurseForge being, I think, to this day, still the biggest modding platform for Minecraft, and lots of mod packs releasing exclusively on there. It does really suck that CurseForge is not supported. And I have no clue why it may not be. Maybe there's some kind of beef going on there behind the scenes, which I'm not aware of. You're not able to create a new instance with a CurseForge mod pack through the MultMC Launcher, and that sucks. But that is not even the thing which sucks the most. What might be even worse is if you want to add an additional mod to an already downloaded mod pack, you are not able to do that through the launcher. So if you click on a mod pack and you click on edit, you can see a list of your mods, but as soon as you click on add, it will simply open a folder where you can then manually drag mods into. Like, what do you mean? You're able to download mod packs from Modrinth and also some other sources, but you're not able to download individual mods? That just doesn't make sense. So not only does it not support CurseForge, but only Modrinth, and then some other sources like Technic, Feed the Beast, and the AT Launcher, but it also doesn't allow you to install individual mods through the launcher, which also means you can't build a mod pack of your own. You can only download and install already made mod packs. So it has even less functionality than both Modrinth and CurseForge. Oh, and this doesn't go for just mods, by the way. Resource packs and shader packs and worlds, those all have the same problem. Now, for a little bit, I thought that the launcher was gonna redeem itself because it looked like it allowed you to change your skin and your cape straight from the launcher. And even though the whole menu is there and the functionality may be there as well, for me it simply kept on crashing every single time I tried. So while it should have worked, it didn't work for me. I went back to the launcher at a later point to double check and it still did not work for me. And maybe it works for you guys. And if that's the case, that's amazing. But I was not able to use any of the skin changing functionality, which kinda sucks. So even though the menu is there, I've tried twice on 2 separate occasions to use it and it failed both times miserably. I can't give it points for that. Also, the fact that it doesn't support CurseForge whatsoever is weird, especially for a third-party launcher which is not related to any of these modding platforms. So MultMC, while you do have a lot of potential and your launcher could be very great with just a few tweaks, you're just missing the bar every single time. I'm very sorry, you're going in C as well. Next we got the AT Launcher, and oh boy, this is a special one. So on the surface the AT Launcher also looks very simple. You come in and the first thing you see is news. When I see news, I assume there is actually news there. But oh, was I wrong. At the time of recording, last update was made in November 2024. Whatever they are newsing about, it's not very new news. But outside of that, the launcher does do a lot of things very, very well. You're able to easily create a new instance and download mod packs from Modrinth, CurseForge, the AT Launcher, Feed the Beast, and Technic. So it does support a lot of platforms. Also, it allows you to easily easily add mods through the launcher itself. No need to manually download them and then drag them in. The launcher will actually download them for you. And you can also do this from both CurseForge and Modrinth, which is amazing. But then I got very surprised because the AT Launcher has another very cool feature, which is that it allows you to host a Minecraft server. Yes, you're able to use the AT Launcher as a kind of Minecraft server manager. So besides it managing your Minecraft installations, it can manage Minecraft servers as well. And you can very easily just select a type of server you want, select a version, click on launch, and it will then just launch a server for you on your own system, which is awesome. Now, I'm fairly sure you would still have to port forward to make sure that your friends can actually join that server. But if you have all of that set up already, then it is such a simple and clean way to do it. Now, the launcher does also allow you to change your skin, but for some reason the skin changing method is very much hidden, and it also doesn't allow you to change your cape. The news tab feels a bit unnecessary, as not many news articles are being pushed there anyway. And while you are able to customize the launcher a little bit, I've heard quite many complaints from you guys that it is kinda ugly. It doesn't look the best. At the same time, it doesn't have any ads though, so that is really nice. I think that if the AT Launcher developers make a few tweaks and changes, it could be an easy S rank. For now though, it is gonna join Modrinth in rank A. Then next up we got the GD Launcher, and this launcher is a bit strange. So as soon as you open the launcher, the first thing you will notice is that once again the whole right side of the screen is occupied by ads, CurseForge style. They took a little bit of a different approach though. As soon as you open the CurseForge app, by default, 1/3 of the entire window will be occupied by ads. The GD Launcher decided to not do that, and instead they would make the default window a lot wider, so that it is basically the full launcher on the left side, and then a big strip with ads on the right. Now obviously, I'm not a big fan of this. What I'm also not a fan of is the fact that they are misadvertising this on their website. If you go to the GD Launcher website, it will seem like the launcher doesn't have any ads whatsoever, even though this is very much the case. Now, aside from the ads, the launcher is actually very simple. You have a library, which is where all of your installed mod packs and instances will show up. Then you have a mod pack section, which is where you can easily install mod packs from both CurseForge and Modrinth. So pretty straightforward, just modpack installation. And then you have a mods section, which is where you can easily install mods, also from both CurseForge and Modrinth, and it doesn't require any manual downloads at all, which is what we really like to see. At the same time, from what I've seen, it doesn't allow you to install shader packs, data packs or resource packs through the launcher, so that is a bit of a miss. But when it comes to mods and mod packs, it can basically do everything. You're also able to customize the launcher a little bit, which is kinda nice. And a pretty cool and unique feature is actually that you're able to hook up a GD Launcher account. And if you do that, the GD Launcher is able to back up your settings, preferences, and instances to a cloud, where if you then log in with your GD Launcher account on another device, it can fetch all of that information. That is pretty cool. So the functionality is simple. The main thing which is really holding this launcher back is once again the tremendous amounts of ads. But something which I should definitely point out is that the GD Launcher has a partnership with CurseForge, which is probably also why the ads on the GD Launcher look just as awful as on CurseForge. But you might wonder, what is this partnership about? Well, one of the main things is that if you use the GD Launcher and you see ads in the GD Launcher, that ad revenue will also be shared and paid to authors of mods and mod packs on CurseForge. In other words, just like how the CurseForge app shares revenue, and the same thing goes for Modrinth, this is also the case for the GD Launcher. Part of the revenue will directly go to CurseForge creators. So that is at least important to keep in mind. The ads are still awful, but at least there seems to be a fair revenue distribution. Though, I do have to say I don't know the exact details. For example, I don't know what percentage will go to CurseForge creators. While on CurseForge and Modrinth, you can actually see the percentages. Will advertisements on the GD Launcher be intrusive? It depends on what you define as intrusive. The entire right section of your launcher is one big ad. I think there is no one who would not define that as intrusive. So the GD launcher does a lot of basic things really well. Visually, it looks kinda great. It reminds me a lot of the Modrinth and CurseForge app, but then it does support both platforms. Unfortunately, it only supports the platforms for mods and mod packs, but no shader or data or resource packs. The account feature is really cool, being able to save your stuff in the cloud, but at the same time there's no way to change your cape or skin whatsoever. So generally speaking, the things it does pretty well, but there are also still a lot of things missing. Therefore, GD, you're going in B. Now next up, we got none other than the Prism Launcher. By far the most popular launcher we've checked out in this entire series. Ever since the first episode, you guys have been screaming at me to please just cover Prism and then end the series immediately. Obviously, I did not do that, but it is safe to say that the Prism Launcher does have a cult following going on. But after testing the launcher, I do have to say it is for good reason. Prism basically does everything you would want a launcher to do, and it does it all really, really well. It allows you to download mod packs from Modrinth, CurseForge, Technic, Feed the Beast, and even the AT launcher, if that's something you're into. If you don't want to start with a mod pack though, but you just want to install a clean fabric installation and then add mods yourself, that is also something you can totally do, all through the launcher. Unlike MultMC, which the Prism Launcher is a fork of, the Prism Launcher does actually allow you to download mods and shader packs and resource packs all through the launcher. No reason to do anything manual. The launcher can and will handle it all. You're also able to create desktop shortcuts for certain instances. So you don't even have to launch Prism, but you can just double click your desktop shortcut and it will just boot that installation instantly. That is such a cool feature. There are also a bunch of customization options. So you're able to choose your icons, choose between a few background colors. You're even able to choose a background image, which is pretty cool. It supports a whole bunch of languages and it is extremely lightweight. Some might again call it boring design, but if you just want a launcher that works and that can boot your game in a few seconds, then having such a simple design is actually a pro, not a con. You can add a whole bunch of Minecraft accounts, and of course you are completely able to change your skin and your cape directly from the launcher. No need to go to the Minecraft website. All the functionality is there, and compared to the MultMC Launcher, here it actually works. Like always, consistently. And even after creating an instance, you can easily change your version. You can see your worlds and servers and even screenshots from the launcher. It is all really, really cool. Also, Prism has 0 ads whatsoever, and something which is really cool too is that you can actually run Prism in a portable folder. If you have multiple Windows systems and you like play Minecraft on all of them and you like switching them around, you can just run a portable version of Prism that you can literally take with you on, for example, a USB stick. It is just great. There are only 2 things which you could argue are not perfect. The first one is the design. It is very simple. Some may really like it, like myself. I love the simple look, but others might want a more visually pleasing experience. If that's the case, Prism might not be your piece of cake. Though even Prism has a whole bunch of different themes available, which you can download. The only other argument I could think of to not really like Prism would be that it doesn't allow you to create and launch a server like the AT launcher is, for example, able to. Now, if you don't care about that feature, like myself, I always host my Minecraft servers at third-party hosting companies, so I don't need to run one on my own PC, then it is a non-issue. But if you really like to host servers on your own system and you would want a way to manage those, I could definitely see how you may prefer the AT launcher. But Prism, it is just full with functionality. It is extremely lightweight. All the features that are there work well, and they work consistently well. Installing mod packs is super simple, or just creating an instance of your own and being able to easily add mods and shader and resource packs to that with just a few clicks. That is just amazing. And if you use Prism, there is basically no reason to manually download anything. Most stuff can all just be done from the launcher, and it is amazing. You might have felt it coming already, but the only rightful spot that Prism can sit in is of course S. And if you've never tried Prism for yourself, I would highly encourage you to give it a try. Now after Prism, it is of course time for XMCL XMCL, which is short for the X Minecraft Launcher. And this launcher actually blew my mind, because it basically does everything which the Prism Launcher does as well, but then it seems to do even more. So just like the Prism Launcher, XMCL allows you to easily download mod packs from both Modrinth and CurseForge. It also allows you to easily install mods and shader packs and resource packs from both of these platforms as well. It also allows you to easily install Minecraft worlds from CurseForge, because to this day, Modrinth still doesn't support world hosting, CurseForge does, so XMCL just hooks into CurseForge to download worlds, which is really awesome. But the functionality doesn't even stop there. Something else which XMCL can do is called multiplayer on LAN, and it basically allows you to host a world on your own system. It will then generate a public IP for you, which you can share with your friends, so they will be able to join into that world. So it essentially does what mods like E4MC and Essential do, but then all directly inside of the launcher. And what XMCL also allows you to do is completely customize the look. And when I say completely customize, I mean completely customize. So first up, many of you seem to prefer the visual look of XMCL over Prism. XMCL looks more like your traditional Minecraft launcher, and in my personal opinion, it kinda gives Steam vibes. You know how Steam looks, the platform Steam? It kinda feels like they took inspiration from there, which, mind you, is a good thing, because Steam looks great. But then you're also able to completely customize all colors of the launcher. And it's not even like you can choose one singular color and your whole launcher will just turn into that. But instead, there are more than 7 different colors for different aspects of the launcher you can customize. You can even show an effect on the background if you want. You can change the font if that is something you want to do. So the customization is next level. And of course, it also still allows you to change your skin and your cape inside of the launcher. In other words, it does all that Prism does, but then even more. The ability to host a LAN world that all of your friends can then just join. It is really awesome actually. And all of this without any ads whatsoever. Now you might wonder, Kasai, do you have no complaints about this launcher at all? Well, I do actually, because this launcher could be a lot slower than launchers like Prism, for example, are. This is because it was built on something called Electron, which is known to be pretty slow and consume a lot of RAM. So while the launcher might have more features, and according to a lot of you guys looks better visually than Prism, it will also consume a lot more RAM, it will be less optimized, and it is not really a lightweight launcher in the same way that Prism is. But these are trade-offs you could make. What do you find more important? If it is having a visually pleasing launcher with a lot of features, then XMCL might be something for you. Though if you want a lot of features and you want it all to be really lightweight, then Prism might be your go-to. So it really depends, and it really comes down to personal preference. But with XMCL having more features than Prism and also more customization, and the only real downside being the fact that it is quite resource intensive and a bit slow at times, I definitely feel like it deserves its spot next to Prism all the way up in S rank. Now the next 4 launchers we're going to be taking a look at are a bit special, because all of these 4 are actually launchers of Minecraft clients. In essentially every single video that I make about clients and launchers, I have to re-explain this, but no, they are not the same thing, despite popular belief. A Minecraft launcher is only the software that is used to launch and manage your game. A client, on the other hand, is a modded version of Minecraft. So what is the Feather client? Well, as soon as you launch the game and you have it open, that is a modified version of the game. It is modified by Feather to include extra features and quality of life upgrades. And that is called the client. But I do totally get why it is so confusing, because the vast majority of these clients do come with their own custom launcher. And because this is the launcher test, we decided to have a look at some of these launchers. And that is something I want to make very, very clear. Like, very clear, we've only had a look at the launchers of these clients. We did not check out any of the features of the clients itself. Therefore, in this tier list, I will also only be rating these client launchers, which doesn't include any of the client's features. So if you see your favorite client get a bad rating, then it doesn't mean I hate that client, it just means that that client has a bad launcher. Just want to make sure we're on the same level here. I'm I'm not rating the clients, I've not tested any of them, and I have no clue whatsoever how good they may be. Okay? Just so we're clear. So the next launcher to rate is the launcher of the Lunar client. Once again, not the Lunar client itself, only its launcher. And the launcher of the Lunar client is definitely interesting. So first up, there's a big ad in the bottom right of your screen, which is rather sad. Now you can remove it by becoming a Lunar Plus member, but you know, that's a paid subscription and we don't really want to do that. Also, Lunar Plus doesn't make any sense if you're just gonna use the launcher and none of the client features. Now obviously, because it is a launcher of a client, the launcher does really try to push its client features. So if you want to create a new installation, it immediately begs you to include the Lunar mods as well. But you don't have to. You're totally able to launch a vanilla installation without any of the Lunar client features using the launcher of the Lunar client. And not just that, you're also able to easily install a Fabric, Forge, NeoForge or Quilt installation. Also again, without any of the Lunar client's features at all. Now that is pretty awesome. Now when I made the launcher test episode about the Lunar client launcher, you were already able to create a vanilla installation or a modded installation using Fabric, Forge, NeoForge or Quilt, but you were not able to install mods through the launcher itself. That was not yet a functionality. You had to do everything manually. But ever since I released that episode, the Lunar client launcher has actually received an update, and nowadays you are able to download and install mods directly through the launcher, which is a big win. So you can switch between CurseForge and Modrinth, and then you can just look for any mod you want to install. For example, Iris shaders, and as soon as you click on install, you can select what profile you want to install it for. So over here we got a 1.21.8 installation, which is running Lunar on Fabric, but this one over here is a completely vanilla installation. It's vanilla Minecraft with Fabric in version 1.21.10. And by clicking, I can simply add Iris to there. And now if I would launch that installation, I would have pure vanilla Minecraft with Fabric and Iris shaders. And in-game, you couldn't even tell that that was launched through the Lunar client launcher. So by the Lunar client developers adding these features to their launcher, it almost makes it possible to use the launcher of the Lunar client as a regular Minecraft launcher. Though it is still missing a bunch of features. For example, you're not able to change your skin or cape inside of the launcher whatsoever. You might be like, oh, that is strange. Does Lunar not have that functionality? Well, yes, it does. But that functionality is reserved for the client. You can change your skin in-game. It also still has a very big ad in the bottom right, which is just annoying. And it also has a quick play section. And while the whole idea of a quick play section is really nice, being able to instantly boot your game into a server that you really like, it doesn't seem like you're able to customize it at all. So if all the servers inside of the quick play section are servers that you just don't care about, then, well, you're stuck with them anyway. Also, both the news section and the store, which is the Lunar client store, are not actually inside of the launcher. There are buttons for them, but they just directly take you to the website. So they just open your browser, which just feels a bit lazy in a way. So while I definitely like the extra functionality that allows you to install mods and mod packs and resource packs and shader packs directly through the launcher, even to a vanilla installation which is not running Lunar at all, you're still not able to change your skin without using the client, which is definitely sad. And also, I would like to see more customization when it comes to the quick play section, as well as having an actual in-launcher news and store tab that don't just take you to a website. But even though this is just the launcher of a client, it actually has more functionality than some of the actual launchers, like standalone launchers we've had a look at. If Lunar would not have added this in-launcher mod installation feature, it would be looking at a very low rating. But this feature does really change everything. It does make it quite usable as a launcher on its own, without touching any of the Lunar features. That on itself is great, and the fact that you can install stuff from both CurseForge and Modrinth does give it more functionality than both the CurseForge and the MultMC Launcher, which means that I'm gonna put the launcher of the Lunar client in a comfortable B. And then next up, it is time for Feather. And I'm not gonna make this section of the video too long. The launcher of the Feather client simply sucks. There is no way around it. It has an ad in the bottom right, which, sure, a lot of launchers have that, but that still means it loses points. We don't like having ads in the launcher, but that ad there is just a start. The whole right side of your screen is immediately filled with partnered servers, which on Lunar, I wasn't really sure about the quick play section. Here on Feather, these are straight up servers that pay money to Feather to be featured here. Here as well, the whole right side of your screen is basically just an ad. But then you try to create a Minecraft installation and you notice that you are not able to create a vanilla installation whatsoever. In other words, you're only able to boot your game using the actual Feather client, which kind of makes sense. I mean, it is the launcher of the Feather client, so most people who would download the Feather client launcher would actually want to launch a Feather client, but Lunar allows you to launch vanilla installations. Why can't Feather do that? To make it even worse, as Feather is only supported on Fabric, you can only install Fabric installations. So you will get Fabric, period, and you will get the Feather client, period. The only thing you can really decide is the version you want that all in. Now, I have to give it to them, there is actually a way to browse and download mods inside of the launcher. Though, unfortunately, CurseForge is not supported here, only Feather's own mods and then Modrinth. But these mods will then just exist on top of the already installed Fabric client features, because those will always be there. Now, there is a way to change your skin inside of the launcher of Feather, though this is an extremely buggy process. I don't think I've ever had that much trouble changing a skin. It just didn't work. The only thing that this launcher has kind of going for it is the servers feature. So in the same way that the AT launcher can manage your servers, the launcher of Feather client can do this too. Though it is a bit better, as it will immediately give you a domain which you can give to your friends, which they can use to join that server. So it's actually a bit of an improvement over what the AT launcher does. But that is about the only nice thing I have to say about it. It is just an ad-filled launcher, which doesn't give you any freedom whatsoever. You will be running Feather, and it will be in a Fabric installation, period. It is a launcher which is clearly meant to be used to launch the Feather client, and every single feature that you would want in a normal Minecraft client, those are all missing, and that's about it. I'm very sorry to do this to you, but the launcher of the Feather client, and again, I'm not talking about the Feather client features, I've never checked those out, but the launcher itself, it is getting a big F. Don't use this as a launcher. You will have an awful time. Now, next on the list, we got the launcher of the NoRisk client. And I do have to say, this launcher took me by surprise. This client's launcher is so extremely cool. It of course is a client, just like Lunar and Feather, but it's not being so aggressive about it. The NoRisk client allows you to totally ignore any of the NoRisk client features, and you can simply create a Minecraft installation using Forge, Fabric, NeoForge or Quilt with no problem at all. Every single time you do create a new installation, it will ask you if you want to install one of the NoRisk client mod packs, but you don't have to do this whatsoever, and then you will just have a vanilla installation of Minecraft with only the mods installed that you've chosen. Also, when it comes to the mod installation, this is also something which can totally be done inside of the client. You can install mods, mod packs, resource packs, shader packs, and even data packs from both Modrinth and CurseForge directly through the launcher. No manual installation required whatsoever. The NoRisk client also allows you to have custom capes. But, of course, custom capes are custom capes, and therefore you will only be able to see the custom capes if you're actually using the NoRisk client features. But as we're looking at these launchers from a perspective as someone who doesn't need any of the client features and only actually wants to use the launcher, the fact that you were not even able to change your vanilla cape was kind of disappointing, which is why I'm so extremely happy to tell you that the developer of the NoRisk client actually saw my video and added a vanilla cape changer to the launcher. So it is now there. Look at that. You can now change your vanilla cape through the launcher as well. Absolute massive W. Another complaint I had in the initial video I made is that the profiles felt very cluttered. Like, you will see a whole bunch of installations, but the majority of installations you see there, you don't actually have installed. But some of them you do. So you basically have to go and click around and see which ones you actually have installed already and which ones are just there as kind of previews. And you're also totally able to delete mod packs, of course, but you're not able to delete these previews. So while you can still not delete these previews, it seems like the developer has decided to make all of these different tabs here, which allows you to switch between all, NoRisk client, servers, but then there's also a mod pack section where only your own mod packs will show up in. So if I would go ahead and install Performium just like that, then it will show up here in its own separate mod packs tab, which is great. And one of my favorite things about this client's launcher is actually the way it looks. Visually, it is so cool. And the launcher allows you to pick a theme color, which will then completely mix up the way it looks, which is very cool. And it's kind of crazy to say, but for a client launcher, which is once again not a standalone Minecraft launcher, but actually a launcher of a client, in terms of pure features in the launcher, it rivals the likes of Prism. Now, of course, the launcher of the NoRisk client is not as lightweight as Prism might be, and Prism might have some more features for less generic players. So like very specific use case scenarios, Prism might still be nicer to use, but the launcher of NoRisk allows you to simply create Minecraft installations with any version and with whatever mod loader you want. You can easily change your skin, you can even change your vanilla cape, and the only real thing which is currently keeping it from being a full-fledged Minecraft launcher that I would instantly recommend to everyone is the fact that you do still have all of these preview installations, like for example Hide and Seek and NoRisk Client 1.21, which you cannot delete. Now, trust me, I get it. This is not a standalone launcher. It is still a launcher of a client. So obviously you're gonna have the client preview in here so you can just easily launch that with a single click. At the same time, if you're not gonna use any of the NoRisk client's features and you would want to use this launcher as like an actual standalone launcher, it is also really annoying to just have these here. Same thing goes for the capes. Like, yes, you have a vanilla tab, but the launcher still kind of wants you to use the NoRisk client so that you're also able to use all of these capes. But the fact that this is a client launcher and it has so many features in the launcher alone that you're essentially able to use it as a launcher without booting the client whatsoever, that is just amazing. In terms of features, it rivals the likes of Prism. At the same time though, there definitely are some downsides. For example, the fact that if you don't care about the client features, they are still there. And of course, they are there to stay. At the same time, the launcher does look very nice visually. In my personal opinion, it is one of the best designs out of all of them. And while I'm here talking and saying this, I now know what to do. I believe that the launcher of the NoRisk client belongs in A. But that means that the launcher of the NoRisk client is in the same tier as the AT launcher and the Modrinth app. And I simply don't think that is right. Which is why, in actuality, the Modrinth app should not be in A tier, it should be in B. Now you might wonder why. Let me explain. The Modrinth app being in A at first made sense. At least it did to me. While the Modrinth app and the CurseForge app both only support their own platform, the Modrinth app did have a lot of other features which made it stand out. For example, the fact that you're able to have a friend list, the quick play option, and being able to change your skin inside of the launcher. All of that is stuff which CurseForge just didn't have whatsoever. What was also a big plus is that there is an ad in the Modrinth app, but it is really small comparatively. Only a little eyesore in the bottom right. And even though the AT launcher does support multiple platforms, both Modrinth and CurseForge, and it allows you to quickly create and launch servers, though it doesn't do the port forwarding for you, it still felt kinda balanced. But now that we've added NoRisk, I really feel like Modrinth has been pushed back. Therefore, I think that B is a better tier to put Modrinth. It is definitely still better than CurseForge and MultMC, and while both the GD launcher and the Lunar launcher allow you to download stuff from both Modrinth and CurseForge, they have other things which sets them back a lot. Like for example, the immensely intrusive ads on the GD launcher, and the fact that you're not able to change your skin in the launcher of the Lunar client, as well as the ads and then the quick play option which is not customizable. I feel like Modrinth here in B tier would make more sense. That leaves room in A rank for NoRisk and AT, while having Prism and XMCL in S. But, of course, we're not done yet. It is time to rate the last two launchers. So the second to last is the launcher of the LabyMod. Now for starters, the LabyMod doesn't have any ads in the launcher, which is a great win. It does have a news section though, where it features new releases for the LabyMod store. So while it may not be a traditional ad, it is still kind of an ad, but then just for the LabyMod store. And even though having no ads in the launcher whatsoever is really nice, something which LabyMod does not allow you to do is launch the vanilla game whatsoever. It only allows you to launch the LabyMod client. That's it. Just like Feather, the launcher of the LabyMod client only allows you to launch the actual LabyMod client. Yes, you're able to browse and install mods through the LabyMod client directly, so that is really nice. Also, it supports both Fabric and Forge. So unlike Feather, it is at least on 2 platforms, so that already gives you a lot more customization. You're also able to change your skin inside of the launcher, though I should note that this did not work for me. For some reason, it just kept bugging out. But there is at least an option to change your skin and your cape inside of the launcher itself. Though something which I do want to note is that LabyMod commented under the video I made about their launcher, and there they said they were gonna look into the issue I encountered with the skin and cape changer in the video. That clearly was a bug, of course, and they're gonna look into that, so hopefully that will be solved very soon. But they also said that launching the game in vanilla, that is something they're gonna implement in the next major update. Now that is a big W. And even though the update is not here yet, and therefore you can only launch the LabyMod client with the LabyMod launcher, making it not really usable as a launcher whatsoever, it sounds like the future is bright, because they do have a skin changer, and they do have a browser in-game, which allows you to install mods and such. So if they implement the functionality to boot the vanilla game through the launcher directly, they will immediately bump up a few levels here on this ladder. This is still the launcher test, so for now LabyMod, you will stay in F. And then the last launcher we have to rate is of course the vanilla Minecraft launcher. So it's always funny to rate the vanilla Minecraft launcher. I mean, it literally comes with the game. It is the only launcher out of all of these that allows you to boot Minecraft Bedrock Edition. So if that is what you want, then you now know which one to choose. Also, it allows you to easily create more instances, and those instances can even have different locations on your PC. So that way your mods and worlds won't overlap, which is really nice. You can of course also quickly check out snapshots, because, well, it's the vanilla Minecraft launcher, and you can change your skin and your cape, but that's about it. Don't get me wrong, it is a great Minecraft launcher. It's a vanilla launcher. It doesn't have any ads, which is nice, but of course, because it is, well, the vanilla launcher, it also doesn't allow you to install mod loaders and mod packs and stuff like that. At the same time though, I definitely think that the Modrinth app would be better than the vanilla launcher, which means the last thing I'm gonna do in this video and in this tier list is make a distinction between high and low tier. In other words, currently I just popped them in order, but there could still be some distinction in here. Maybe even in the B rank, I like a certain launcher more than another. So let's quickly go over everything. Feather, in my opinion, definitely is the worst launcher we've checked out. Even though it is a launcher of a client and not a standalone launcher, even for launching the client, it wasn't that great. The skin changing functionality was very buggy and just didn't work well. I was also not able to find an easy way to create multiple separate installations, and I saw some comments from you guys that it is apparently possible, but I was not able to figure out how. LabyMod also doesn't allow you to boot the vanilla game, but at least it has a good in-game browser with mods that supports both Fabric and Forge instead of just Fabric on Feather. So in my opinion, Feather is low tier F, LabyMod high tier F. Then we're going to C tier. The CurseForge app only allows you to download stuff from CurseForge. It doesn't allow you to change your skin. 1/3 of the entire launcher is one big ad. And while this launcher might be really nice if you also like modding other games, for Minecraft modding specifically, it doesn't really do anything special. MultMC lacks CurseForge support, which is strange. It does support Modrinth, and it does support other platforms like Feed the Beast and Technic, but no CurseForge, which is a bummer. The MultMC Launcher does have skin changing functionality, something which CurseForge doesn't have, but for me it didn't work. But let's assume the skin changer does work for others, and the fact that it didn't work is just an issue on my end. MultMC is gonna be in high tier C, and CurseForge is gonna be in low tier C. And taking that into consideration, I think that the vanilla Minecraft launcher should go right in the middle. The vanilla Minecraft launcher is sitting comfortably in the middle of C. The GD launcher does support both Modrinth and CurseForge, unlike the Modrinth app, but the GD launcher is very simple. And outside of downloading mods and mod packs, it doesn't really allow you to do anything else. Also, the ads on the GD launcher are way more intrusive, like 1/4 of your screen is just an ad again, while Modrinth's ads are way less intrusive. It has a friend list, it has quick play, and it allows you to easily download shader and texture and data packs as well. For me, Modrinth will be high B, GD will sit nice in the middle, and then Lunar is gonna be low B. Lunar does have a lot of nice features, especially since their most recent update, but there's no denying that the launcher is still very much made to launch Lunar, which is why it will be hard to recommend to anyone who doesn't care about the client features. NoRisk, on the other hand, is a good example that a launcher made to boot a client can also actually be a good launcher. There are a few spots in the launcher which reminds you that yes, this is still a client launcher, but besides that, you can create full mod packs in this launcher and at times even forget that this is called the NoRisk client. It even allows you to change your skin and cape. And while the AT launcher also allows you to change your skin, you can't change your cape whatsoever. Something which the AT launcher can do though is create and launch servers for you, which is a pretty epic feature. Aesthetically though, in my opinion, NoRisk definitely looks a lot nicer than the AT launcher. And as cape changing is something which is very important to me, and as I need to make this tier list from a personal opinion, I don't like the way AT launcher looks. I don't think it is very aesthetically pleasing. I'm also not a big fan of the news section, which never gets updated, and the fact that you're not able to change your cape is kind of a letdown, which is why I'm gonna place the NoRisk client in high A and the AT launcher will be in low A. And then last but not least, S rank. Both the Prism Launcher and XMCL are the most feature-rich launchers we've checked out in this entire series. Both of them do lots of things very well. The biggest difference between these two is their visual representation. Prism is very simple and very lightweight. XMCL, on the other hand, has a lot more going on visually, and you're also able to easily completely customize the look by changing colors and even the font if you want. I can totally see that the majority would prefer XMCL in terms of what it does visually. At the same time, it is based on a core which is known to be slow and consume a lot of RAM. XMCL does allow you to host a LAN world, which all of your friends can then join, but as this is my personal tier list, and hosting a LAN world is something which I never do, as I'm just running a server always anyway, I am not gonna change anything here. Is my tier list. With XMCL in low S and Prism all the way at the top in high S. That's it. Now, of course, you are totally allowed to disagree. If you prefer another Minecraft launcher, that is only good. So use whatever launcher you feel most comfortable with. Personally, I'm gonna be switching to the Prism Launcher. I love the fact that it is so lightweight and simple and easy. And personally, I don't need something which is very visually pleasing. I just want a quick application that launches my game, and that's about it. I also really love the fact that you can run Prism in portable mode. Because while I'm not the type of person to switch between PCs every few days, I am the type of person who is always experiencing problems with their PC, which means that once every few months I will reinstall Windows. And when I do that, it sucks so much if I have to completely reinstall Minecraft and all of my installations. While if I can just run Prism in portable mode, I won't have to worry about that. I can just move it over and that's it. So for the first time in 1.5 years, I will be making the switch from the Modrinth app to the Prism Launcher. And with that being said, that is gonna be the launcher test for now. Thank you so much for watching. Do make sure to subscribe to the channel, join my Discord. Thank you so much, channel members. And then I will see you in the next one. Bye bye. See you later. Bye bye.